they're always dessert themed. It'll be like honey, sugar, sweetie pie. Except for Hispanic guys, right? Because they'll be all like, umami. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, coming up next to the stage, we got Michael Allen. First time here, welcome in.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah. Here. I'm terrible with this. Cool place. First time here. Can you hear me okay back there? Okay. So I recently started doing stand-up, and when I would tell people that I'm doing comedy or want to be a comedian, they'd have a really strange look on their face, and they'd say, but you've always been doing comedy or been a comedian. And that's true enough. I mean, as a writer, a poet, a storyteller, an activist, I've always tried to have humor in everything that I do. So now I tell people I'm doing stand-up, and stand-up is a lot of fun for somebody with crippling anxiety and stage fright. But I also have a terrible fear of heights, so 3 months ago I took a plane 2 miles up into the sky and I jumped out of it. And I recently heard about an open mic in the area, and I said I'm going to do that. So I went with a friend from work to this open mic and signed up. I was being real brave, and I sat at the table and I was talking to her and looking over my notes and feeling like I had nothing funny to say. And so I said, nope, I'm not doing this. And I went up to the host, Jamal, and I said, I'm sorry, Jamal, I'm going to back out, and I'll come back next week and try it again. And I thought he'd be fine with it, but he said, and I quote, don't be a little bitch. Well, what Jamal did not know at the time is I am a little bitch. No, also, he did not know that I am a neurodiverse introvert with severe anxiety disorders and a tendency to develop earworms. Now, an earworm, if you don't know what that is, for most people is like a jingle or a song that gets stuck in your head maybe for a couple hours. For me, it can be any word or phrase or anything, and it could be there for weeks or months. So right now I'm sitting at the table with my disappointed friend who's not going to see me make a fool of myself, and I have little bitch playing in my head. And so we decided to leave early, and all the way home I have little bitch just repeating in my head. So I get home, and of course I'm, fantasizing about being Jamal's little bitch while I masturbate. And my husband really does not care for that joke at all. But yes, I have a husband for 20 years, and we've been together for 27. Yeah. Thank you. I did have a pause for applause sign there, so thanks for that. He's very supportive of my comedy, and I'm glad he doesn't come to my shows because he doesn't like some of the jokes. Like, he wouldn't like the joke I said about having my phone number at the bus terminal in the men's room. It's the second stall on the right. Or how I don't know how it got there after it was painted over twice. So I'm glad he doesn't come to my shows, and I'm glad he doesn't use the bus station. But as a neurodiverse introvert with severe anxiety disorder, so littlest things really tend to bother me a lot. So, like last Friday, I got an email from my boss's boss's boss, and I never get emails from my boss's boss's boss, so I was really concerned, and it was a long email. So I read through the whole email, basically outlining how I was not a good fit for my job, and it ended with the words, "You're fired." And so I'm a little shaky still about that because she wrote Y-O-U-R, and I mean, she couldn't even use the right your, so it's very disturbing to me. But I know it really was awful. But I've been working on my biggest character flaws. My biggest character flaw, of course, is my lack of humility. Because I try to be humble all the time, but I surround myself with ordinary human beings, and it just reminds me that, I'm fucking awesome. And I don't mean that I'm great all of the time, because if I were, that would mean I'd be full of awe, and that would be awful. I have just enough awe, so I'm awesome. And I'd like to end on a quick social justice call to action, because I am sick and tired of black and brown people. No? I'm not going to end the sentence there because that would cancel me. I am sick and tired of black and brown people being disenfranchised, being stopped, being ticketed, being arrested, being incarcerated quicker, easier, for longer sentences than their counterparts with different color skin. So if we can all come together and agree we'd like to live in a world of equality and justice, regardless of your skin color, we can put an end to orange privilege. Thank you for listening and listening. I'm Michael Allen.
Michael Allen. Beautiful, lovely time. Very glad to have you. I always thought earworms were those, earworms.
Oh gosh.
I thought that's what we were talking about. Yeah. I thought, otherwise I found you very relatable, except for I'm just now finding out that when we all say earworms, we're not all meaning little worms in our ears.
That's why I'm antibiotic.
What,
I'm anti-earworm too.
you're anti-earworm. You have them too.
Well, that's where it started, and then I went down the antibiotic rabbit hole.
Right.
You know, the pipeline between
Earworms to excessive antibiotics. Yeah. Yes.
I started watching a lot of TikToks, and then my For You page just started showing me antibiotic content.
I am so curious about what other people's algorithms show them, because I just get these sock puppet monsters growling at me, and I don't know if everybody has that. Okay, and coming up next to the stage we got Aaron Ray.